Beneath the veil of mist and mystery, there lies a journey. A journey that calls for the brave and the curious, who are today's story, diving deep into the depths of Lake Lanier, a place shrouded in tragedy and a curse that refuses to fade. Welcome to the world of Jimmy's Randomness, where each step leads you deeper into the unknown, and every whisper carries a secret hiding in the dark. Swimming in the calm, fresh waters of a lake might seem easier and safer than taking a dip in the vast, salty ocean. But don't be fooled. Freshwater lacks the ocean's natural buoyancy, making it much harder to float and swim. Many hidden dangers lurk below the surface, like old tree stumps waiting in the silence. And it's easy to misjudge your own strength, as the shore might look close at first glance. But then again, distances on water can trick you, leading to tiredness and panic as safety seems to drift slowly further away. Yet, even with these risks, there's one special lake that holds stories, darker and deeper than most. Lake Lanier, located in the northern reaches of Georgia, whispers stories not just of hidden dangers, but of haunting echoes and dark shadows. With over more than 743 souls lost to its dark, murky waters, this lake is more than a pile of water. It's a forgotten dark chapter in America's history, swirling with creepy ghost stories and strange happenings. And so, many victims have said they were pulled underwater by some unseen force, adding this place to the list of America's most haunted sites. Shrouded in a thick fog of mystery and dread. Now, this large man-made reservoir, created in the early 20th century, was meant to quench the thirst of Atlanta's growing population by harnessing the flow of the Chattahoochee River. But the story is tinged with darkness from the start, as the land it now covers was once alive with wildlife belonging to the Cherokee Nation. That was until their forced removal in the 1830s. Later on, it became known as the Foundation for Oscarville, a thriving black community in a time and place where resilience meant everything. But tragedy struck in 1912 when a white woman named May Crow was found beaten and sexually assaulted near the town. Of course, the blame fell on a black man, which resulted in the local white community rounding up any men they could find in the area and arresting them. Eventually, 4 people, Rob Edwards, his wife Jane Daniel, her brother Oscar Daniel, and their cousin Ernest Knox, were all arrested in connection with the crime. Now, what would follow was nothing more than a series of brutal acts driven by pure racial violence. Rob was lynched by a white mob shortly after his arrest, and both Ernest Knox and Oscar Daniel were found guilty of the assault and murder of May Crow after a fast and unfair trial. They were hanged immediately following the court proceedings, and eventually, the racial tensions escalated so severely that nearly the entire town was burned to the ground. And so, within a period of less than 2 months, almost all of the 1,098 residents of Oscarville had been forced to flee their homes, leaving nothing more than a ghost town behind. The waters of the lake now cover this once thriving land, but the echoes of its past remain, swirling in the depths and the fog, making it a place of haunting memories and whispered tales. This place, with all its seeming beauty and tranquility, masks a dark history of loss and sorrow, and serves as a reminder of the untold stories submerged beneath its waters. Now, as the 1950s rolled in with all their promise, The Army Corps of Engineers laid out this bold plan to conjure up Lake Lanier from the earth itself. Imagine, folks whose families had roots deep in that soil, stretching back generations, were suddenly handed a few dollars, practically spare change, for lands rich in stories and soaked in the sweat of their forebears. And 700 families, along with their dreams and the businesses they had built from scratch, found themselves facing the heartbreaking reality of leaving it all behind. Then came the bulldozers and the builders, tearing through the community. And so, over the course of 5 long years, this project slowly consumed the entire town, swallowing up lush green farmlands that once danced in the wind, and even overtaking graveyards where families had once mourned and remembered their loved ones. It was as if the land itself had been rewritten, as if none of it had ever existed at all. It's become a place where ghost hunters, thrill seekers, and anyone looking for a shiver down their spine come to explore, drawn by the lake's eerie embrace and the secrets it keeps hidden beneath its surface. People talk about creepy encounters and many other strange, ominous, and downright scary things haunting the edges of the lake, disappearing into the mist. These are believed to be the restless spirits of those taken by the lake. Many visitors and swimmers tell stories of strange, cold spots or sudden winds that seemingly comes from nowhere, and hearing creepy, haunting sounds rising over the water. A feeling of being watched, combined with a sense of fear, hangs over the people who visit it. There are many creepy stories of loved ones disappearing into the water without a trace, leaving only ripples and unanswered questions behind. Those brave enough to follow into the water found nothing but emptiness, a deep, haunting space where many victims, once playing and laughing, were taken by the lake's never-ending hunger. Now, there's a big difference between people who don't believe in these ghost stories and those who do. To some, these stories are just local tales, nothing more. But for others, they're very real, as cold as the lake's waters. And so, in this mix of dark and light, the legend keeps growing, like a symbol of all that's unseen and unexplained. And that's a wrap on today's journey. If you enjoyed the story, check out the channel for more interesting and intriguing videos. Subscribe, like, and see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.